Title: My childhood bully thought he was untouchable until I became the keynote speaker at his company's leadership summit. Let me take you back a few decades. Middle school, high school, hell, even elementary school, if you want to dig deep, was a battlefield for me. But not the kind with fists or lockers or swirlies. No, my war was fought in whispers, rumors, public humiliations, and silent lunches. And the enemy general? His name was Calvin. You know that golden boy everyone loves for some inexplicable reason? That was him. Calvin had the charm of a politician, the wit of a late-night host, and the venom of a snake. He never laid a hand on me, but in many ways, I think that would have been easier. Bruises heal. The stuff he did, it stuck. Let me give you a highlight reel. The bullying. In 7th grade, Calvin started calling me dog food after I brought a can of spaghetti with meatballs for lunch one day. I loved those Chef Boyardee cans, man. I microwaved it and someone said it smelled weird. Calvin loudly goes, "What is that? Did Jeffrey bring dog food to school?" And it stuck. That was my name until freshman year. Teachers said nothing. Even they laughed. In 8th, he found out my mom worked as a janitor at the local hospital and told everyone I was mop royalty. He'd do this fake bow every time I passed in the hallway, saying, "Your Highness, have you come to scrub the throne room?" Got the whole class laughing. Once again, adults? Silent. Freshman year, I finally got the courage to join the AV club, thinking maybe I could find my people. Calvin? Oh, he made that impossible. He'd pop into meetings just to mess with me. Once, he faked a fire drill and got the school's front desk to announce over the PA system that dog food is melting the server room. He even edited my student film project into a meme compilation that went mini-viral on a Facebook page run by seniors. Sophomore to senior year was just a blur of embarrassment. Calvin was everywhere. School assemblies, he was the MC. Pep rallies, he led them. Parties, invited. He even dated the girl I finally mustered up the courage to ask out junior year, only to find out later that she agreed to go with me as a joke Calvin dared her into. I graduated without attending prom, without friends, and barely scraping together enough self-worth to look people in the eye. After high school, I went radio silent. I deleted old social media, moved to a new city for college, and never once looked back at my hometown. I studied computer science and psychology because, yes, trauma will do that to you. I got real into user experience design and eventually built my own software startup. We focused on AI-based mental health tools. After a few rocky years, we landed a major partnership with a few healthcare providers and expanded hard. I'm not rich, but let's just say I've gone from Chef Boyardee to private chefs real quick. I didn't think about Calvin for years. Not until he found me. About 3 months ago, I got invited to be the keynote speaker at a leadership summit for a company looking to improve its workplace mental health culture. Big event, black tie. They were especially interested in my story, how I went from being a bullied outcast to building a business that helps others who feel unseen. I agreed. 2 weeks before the event, I got the final itinerary and noticed the company name. It was Calvin's company. Not one he owned, but the one he worked at. He was one of their senior team leads. I still wasn't sure it was the same guy until I arrived. And there he was. Calvin. Older, sure. Hair thinning, a bit heavier, but that smug face was unmistakable. He didn't recognize me at first. Hell, I'd changed. Grown taller, confident posture, better clothes, a decent beard. He came over to shake my hand and said, "Hey, welcome, I'm Calvin. I lead one of the product teams here." I smiled. "Nice to meet you, Calvin. I'm Jeffrey." His hand froze. Mid-shake. I saw it. That flicker of recognition, then the guilt, then panic. He muttered something about needing to find his boss and disappeared before the speech. The speech. I didn't call him out by name. I didn't need to. I told my story. Everything. The years of torment, the nicknames, the psychological scars, the fake prom date, how that pain became fuel, how I built something meaningful from the ashes. I even shared a slide showing the Facebook meme he made of my student film. Everyone laughed, not at me, but at how stupid it was. The tone shifted. People were whispering. I saw Calvin in the back, pale, rigid, visibly sweating. After the speech, a dozen employees came up to me and asked me who the bully was. I just smiled and said, "Let's just say you know him." 2 days later, Calvin resigned, or was encouraged to explore other opportunities. Either way, he's gone. Apparently, the company had just launched a diversity and inclusion initiative, and having their golden boy outed as a childhood emotional terrorist didn't sit well with the board. Do I feel better? Yeah. In a way, I do. It's not that I ruined his life. I just told the truth. And that truth happened to shine a very ugly light on someone who thought he could outrun his past. I didn't chase revenge. I just healed. And the universe did the rest. Let me know if you want an update post. I've since gotten a message from Calvin on LinkedIn. It's something. Update. Hey everyone. It's been a wild ride since my first post. I didn't expect it to blow up like it did, and I genuinely appreciate the kind words, private messages, and people sharing their Calvin stories. Turns out, emotional bullies leave scars that linger long after graduation. As promised, here's the follow-up. Calvin reached out. 2 days after he was ousted, encouraged to explore other opportunities from the company, I got a connection request on LinkedIn. Name, Calvin M. Same smug photo. His title was still listed as Senior Product Team Lead, though I knew he was out. I hovered over that ignore button so long I could have melted it with my gaze. But curiosity is a hell of a drug. I clicked accept. A few minutes later, this popped up. Hey Jeffrey, I'm not sure where to begin. First off, I want to say I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. Watching your speech was like watching a mirror get held up to the worst version of myself. I don't have an excuse. I was an insecure teenager who used popularity like a shield and weapon. I remember everything. The lunch jokes, the fake date thing, the AV sabotage. God, I was a monster. I've spent the last 2 nights unable to sleep thinking about how you must have felt all those years, and how good you turned out despite me. That's incredible. I hope it's not too much to ask, but I'd love to talk. Not for me, for closure. You deserve that. I understand if you'd rather never hear from me again. I read it 3 times. The truth? I wanted to be angry. I was angry. That message scratched open something old and raw inside me. He got to coast for years on charm and likability, while I spent therapy sessions unpacking damage he left behind like landmines in my brain. He got a girlfriend, parties, applause. I got panic attacks and a stutter I didn't shake until junior year of college. But I realized something else. He remembered. Every moment I thought had gone unnoticed or forgotten, he remembered. That's not redemption, but it's acknowledgement, and you don't often get that from a Calvin. I didn't reply right away. I sat with it for a week. I talked to my therapist. I talked to my co-founder who was also bullied growing up. And then, after a long walk and an overpriced coffee, I replied. My response. Hi, Calvin. Thank you for your message. I won't lie. It was unexpected. You're right. What you did was cruel, and I've carried it with me for a long time. But you're also right that I turned out well, in spite of you. I don't think I need closure from a conversation with you. I got closure on that stage. You heard my story, and now so did hundreds of your coworkers. That's enough for me. I hope you actually meant what you said. I hope you do better going forward. Not just in your next job, but in your life. Because there's probably another Jeffrey in your orbit. And you don't get another chance to be better next time. You start now. I wish you luck. He liked the message, but never replied. That was fine. I didn't need a back and forth. I wasn't looking to make him grovel or grope for forgiveness. I wanted to speak with the same clarity he stole from me in high school. And I did. Calvin's LinkedIn profile now says freelance consultant and lists a lot of vague buzzwords. I heard through a former colleague who messaged me after the summit that he tried applying to other leadership roles, but word of the speech spread internally across the industry. Let's just say HR departments are thinking twice. That girl from junior year, the fake date, actually messaged me, too. That was a whole other kind of whiplash. She apologized and said Calvin manipulated her into it. I don't know if that's true, but I accepted her apology and moved on. People change. Hopefully. My company's traffic blew up after the summit. The clip of my keynote got shared on TikTok and LinkedIn. Not viral, but enough to catch a few investor eyes. We're now in talks to expand into the education sector, tools for teens struggling with mental health and identity. That's a full circle moment if I've ever seen one. The revenge wasn't in making Calvin suffer. It wasn't in exposing him or getting him fired or writing this Reddit post, though I won't lie, that part was cathartic. The revenge was living well, outgrowing him, becoming someone he'd never imagined me becoming. Calvin built his social identity by stepping on me. And now, he's just a footnote in mine. Thanks for reading. Jeffrey.